Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to IRL Season 8 F1 Tier Round 5 at Austria. I am your commentator, IRL Neon. I've been joined by Kevin, who's just doing the tweet right now. We've got 8 drivers today, and for some reason I don't have sound. We only have 8. We are expecting a few people to join through mid-quali, so we might have 12 at the end. But, yeah, only 8 today, and we had a low turnout for F4 as well, and it was an interesting race. So, and the tier admin has decided he wants to go ahead with this race, and that's what is going to happen. As actually we are missing a driver. We should actually have 9. Where's... No. Pedro is here, my bad. I thought he was in the house. Well then, while we get everything up. Matthew still leading the championship. As I believe there was a Ferrari of Cornelius who will be first out. As we start then with Cornelius, as he's going into turn 1, he looks like a challenger for Matthew. Had a very good start of the season. Fortunately about it, it's his first lap. Had a good result, second in Canada. Was looking for another good result in Italy, which unfortunately Louis got a penalty with the collision he had, and affected his race. Pedro then is the next one up, purple in sector 1 of course, since he's the first one to set a lap. DRS is activated. Delante sets a 1.3.2, current fastest lap right now. We'd see Lewis, URL Lewis, do a 3.2 yesterday in F4, so we're expecting these guys to at least do 2s minimum. As Pedro's really pushing the car right now. Let's see if he's up in sector 2, and he is. So Luke Pedro then is on a charge in the Alfa Romeo. And his teammate could score big points for the constructors and try and catch up with Michael. DRS is activated and does a 1.2.8, so we've already broken into 2s. Pedro sets the current fastest lap time. Then we have the Haas of Julio, who's next. As he's now come around the final corner, what time will he do then? Activates DRS, comes to the line and does a 1.3.1 to take second place currently. The next driver we do have is the other Alfa Romeo of Michael Royce. Giovanni is on an in lap. As Michael Royce then is coming next to begin his flying lap. His teammate is currently with a 1.2.8 in pole position. As Michael then starts his flying lap right now, and let's see how he takes turn 1. And somebody's forgot to put the track, I believe, on midday. Okay then. I believe it's meant to be midday. It was midday for F4 and FP, so it's a mistake there from Matthew, but hopefully it doesn't affect anybody. Michael Royce is coming down the hairpin corner where, ironically, Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon had their crash. Nice and tidy through there though from Michael. He's looking very strong on track at the moment. The next driver who would be next on a qualifying lap is Michael. Sorry, not Michael, it's Cornelius. And Michael's actually backed off. He's not happy with that lap. And is he going to pit, or is he going to go for a second run?
Didn't want to interrupt you when you were talking over laps, so I'm here now.
That's good. Well then, Kevin, Michael then is on his flying lap now again. Second run, he's currently on a 5.2, but it's his banker. If you want to go on board with him.
Yes, certainly is a banker. 5.2, of course. Pedro Sousa on a 2.8, just getting 3/8, almost 9 flat. I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen Julio before unless he raced last week. What is his name, Jared?
Giulio's real name is, let me just get it up. It actually isn't even being updated on the spreadsheet. At the moment, you're just going to have to call him Giulio for now, until I actually find his name. Just give me 2 seconds. If my computer loads.
Well, yeah, anyway though, Julio, 2 tenths back, almost 3 tenths, 2.5 tenths basically, back from him, and then Jack Levity in third with a 3.2, another roughly tenth back, and Lakito now puts it on pole position, going almost a tenth quicker than Pedro, so he's upped the pace by quite a bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if people like Matthew and Cameron maybe went faster. I know Cameron's got on 1 lap pace at least, so we'll see how he can do. Ryan's also on a lap. I've got some people on out laps. He's coming to finish sector 2. I'm not sure if he's up on his time. Coming through the final 2 corners. That corner is very easy to invalidate, and also kind of easy to lose the rear as he actually abandons that lap. So maybe going to switch onto mediums, maybe thinking that could be a better strategy and that could gain a little bit more. Obviously there could be an unlucky safety car, but there could be a lucky safety car if it comes after all the softness pits, so maybe he's going for that, which we'll see how that develops as Matthew Older now comes out of the pits.
Right now Jack Levity's 800th up in his time, currently sitting in 4th place with a 1.3.2, purple in sector 1. Have a look, let's see what Jack Levity can do then, as unfortunately he was so close last season for victories. This is probably going to be his best shot this season to get a victory today if Matthew can't get up to speed, as the runner there moves out of the way, which was Ryan. As Jack now is coming around the final couple of corners, or approaching them at least. He invalidates, and he did a 2.8 on his fast lap, so he does move to 2nd place then. He will be happy with that, as we'll go on board with Cameron Young, who is looking really quick. The Hasser gets out of the way, doesn't give him a bit of slipstream, and Cameron may be a bit annoyed with that, but he's going to have to deal with it. Cameron then in 7th place, currently with no lap time, on purple in sector 1. So he could actually even challenge for a win and actually finally beat his teammate again, or his former teammate of Matthew Older.
Maybe did he take pole last week then?
No, Louis took pole.
Because I know Matthew Older won last week, so
yeah, Matthew won. Cameron got a podium, I believe. Louis, I think, got 3rd, but then he decided to leave. But Louis did take pole in Zambot, so yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Cameron has invalidated, by the way, going to the right-hander for an ultimate corner, so he's not going to be able to settle up right now. And yeah, he's not going to be going for another lap, so that's that run done. Those tires kind of unusable now, really, because the softs don't go all that long, I don't think, and you certainly won't want worn softs on a quali lap or really in the race either. So that's
true.
his lap.
Can you extend on
Gone
his
for
lap?
now, of course, still 8 minutes.
Pedro needs to get out of the way. He does, very smart there. Finished in 8th, no lap time. Could score some good points today, as he's looking forward for a victory or something like this. Purple in sector 2, so he is currently fighting for pole position. Matthew Older hasn't set a lap yet, probably been invalidating or something. But right now he's in the pits as Knigston comes around a couple of corners, doesn't make a mistake, doesn't invalidate, keeps on, and he invalidates on the final corner, and he does a 1.3.3 as he lifts off, and that would have promoted him in the 5th. He won't be happy with that, as he's just going to be really disappointed as the next Alfa Romeo, Michael Royce, actually being overtaken by his teammate on his qualifying lap with a 2.6 Pedro set. So that's the current fastest lap at the moment.
Yeah, 2 off his front row lockout. Of course, Matthew still hasn't been able to sell up. Neither is Cameron or Cornelius, and they're some of the real title contenders right now, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, I'm going to check now. I know Cornelius is quite up there, and obviously Matthew is leading. Yeah, Cornelius third and Cameron Young fourth. Of course, you said Louis left. So yeah, they are actually the top three in the championship, technically. And all three haven't settled up yet. So yeah, still could certainly go quicker than a 2.6, say like that. And also, of course, there's track evolution. There's 6 minutes left. If they set laps right at the end, could certainly be quicker. But Matthew Walder now is on a lap if you want to go on board with some Jared.
Yep.
Coming into turn 1, braking just after the 100-meter board down to 4th gear. Matthew uses his... it looks like maybe that was Cameron Young. It was Cameron Young coming out of the pit lane. He's on an out lap now, so he gets a little bit of slip from that. It doesn't affect him at all. Coming through the hairpin, and he's at an opposite lock with his wheel there. He didn't go up into third. He stayed in second, I'm pretty sure, for the hairpin. He didn't short shift, so that wouldn't help out with traction. He goes on to the second, up to fourth. We'll see if he can improve now, and he's actually invalidated, so that won't be any improvement.
He was being a bit too greedy there, Kevin, on the curve. He wanted more exit curve, and that just serves him right, to be honest. I noticed this year he's been a bit more greedy with the curbs than he needs to. But he could start at the back of the grid and even still come out of this race, because you might not even have to qualify with this low turnout. You could go on the mediums as he almost crashes into the pits. Complete lost control. I think he needs to be sacked.
He's probably hoping we didn't see that, but
no, we got it.
Definitely did. Cameron Young now, I'll let you take him.
The Welshman then off Cameron. See what he can do. He missed out on a win at Austria in the FPTA, got third place after I absolutely destroyed him in the Ferrari. But still, no need to gloat, as he's now coming up into Sector 1. He does a 15.6 there. Good time at the moment in Sector 1, purple. So currently challenging for pole position. He needs to nail this lap, if he wants to claw some points on Matthew, because you never know, Cameron could still win this title this season. Even with these short turnouts, anything can happen. Matthew could easily DNF. I know it's very unlikely, but it's still a chance. As Cameron then is trying to do what Matthew did, take a bit of exit curb, doesn't take too much. Nice and tidy there, purple in the sector 2 now. Cameron's really starting to pick up the pace on the Red Bull, but he takes too much turning, and that makes him force a little bit wide, and maybe that may be the setup, possibly, as he's doing a pit, and if he does that in the race, it may go to a penalty, because that can be an illegal pit entry.
That looks quite illegal, so I mean, that would be a slam dunk pen if he did it in the race. Obviously he would gain quite a bit there. I don't think anyone would be doing that though. I mean, they all know it's illegal, you can't cross the white line, so...
The only time you can cross the white line is if you've got wing damage. That isn't reasonable. But if you haven't and you've completely cut it, then you are getting a penalty.
Well, everyone in the pit, Julio and Ryan on outlaps. Yeah, Ryan on mediums, as I said, he backed off. And I said he'd probably go for mediums. He is on mediums, so he's thinking that could gain him in the race over the people qualifying on softs. Yeah, only 2 people on track, unfortunately, right now. Doesn't look like anyone's coming out. Everyone's going to be waiting, though the rest will be coming out in the next minute. Probably around like 2:15, I'd say everyone will be at least leaving their pit box, but Julio comes around the final corner to start his lap now, crossing the line. There's a car in front of him, of Ryan. He's also going to be on a lap on the medium, so we'll see how he does compared to the soft runners. He opens DRS going through turn 1. Looks pretty tidy here. Now, will he use the curb or not? It is optional. Not sure if it's quicker or not, but some people prefer to use it, some people don't. He doesn't on this particular occasion. Now here you definitely want to be using the curb to get as much better of an angle as you can through the corner. Obviously getting that traction in 4th gear, once again using all of the curb on entry and exit to maximise the track that you have available to you, coming through to finish that little S section there. Now the penultimate corner, it is quite easy to invalidate, go wide or even spin really if you get up on the curb. No spinning for him, he's going to come across the line now. Is he going to challenge? No, he doesn't improve, I don't think either.
Well, Ryan did improve, he did a 3.5 as I was actually on board with him on mediums. And Julia then goes forth with a 1.2.9, but you said he didn't improve. I'm guessing. Jet Lag then
he may have improved and I didn't notice it, but regardless, he didn't go anywhere from... He was in 4th, he's still in 4th, so... Interesting that Cameron and Matthew aren't leaving the garage.
I think it's a sensible idea. I think they're going to go mediums for the race. I think it's basically self-explanatory. I think mediums to soft would work. If he's going to go hard to soft, he may have shot himself in the foot, because hard...
Yeah, but I mean, even then though, even if they wanted to go on mediums, I mean, like, if Cameron just, like, set a really slow lap on mediums, it would still put him 6th instead of 7th, and I'm sure he'd prefer that, at least. And also, Cornelius is actually out on track, so he'll go at least 6th.
What if he actually lap?
Yeah. He'll be able to set a lap. He's coming around the corner now. He's gone wide, he won't actually be setting a lap.
Yeah, again.
Unless that didn't... No, yeah, he won't be setting a lap. That's his lap over. He was also the last one, so if he wants to retire right now, he should be able to do it without impeding anyone. As people come across the line to finish their laps, I think.
No, Michael's started his lap right now. Pedro, he may have backed off. I know Julia's finished on his.
I've just seen Jack Levity. He's invalidated on his lap. He's continuing. Of course, he doesn't want to impede anyone else, but he won't be improving on his lap. Pedro Salza has also invalidated. Lakitu is still going, so he could improve. If he improves by at least 2/10, then he will get pole. No question about that. Unless Cornelius can do... No, he can't. He's invalidated as well. Yeah, it's all down to Lakitu now coming through the final 2 corners. And he's spun. I said that it's really easy to do that, and he has proved that it is definitely possible. He spins around. I'm not sure how much he was up on his lap, but that's not going to be a pole for Lakitu. I'm sure he would have rather to lead into turn 1. But it hasn't happened that way, and he's going to retire. And that is this qualifying session over now. We just wait for some cars to get in.
It's retired then as well, and it's our first ever Alfa Romeo 1-2 in the top tier. It's been a while for the Alfa Romeo team. They did win the F2 Constructors in Season 6 in IRL F2. But no, Alfa Romeo hasn't really been a strong team up in the F1 tier, so it's a good result for them. Well, 1st and 2nd. Hopefully they can convert that 1-2 in the race, unless Matthew and Cameron storm out of nowhere with a soft medium or a soft hard strategy, or hard soft, it depends what they try. But if they do soft hard strategy, I think people may up at front do a 2-stop, and I think they'll be quicker. Zone 5 Race Championships because it's not Monza, and I know that's you, Matt. Thanks for the comment. And thanks for the reminder of F5. Well done. Weather looks good. Hopefully everybody finishes. I pray nobody retires and just DNFs because you can score points. So, well done. While I wait for everybody to pick a setup, we will go down the predictions soon when the formation lap goes. If you guys got any questions in the comments, and if you actually do want to join the league, sign-ups are still open for mid-season. hopefully turnouts do turn up better, but I know next season the turnouts will be miles better, since everyone will know what they're doing then, like work and stuff. So let's wait for 25 seconds. Also a reminder, we will not be doing any interviews today, so letting drivers know there will be no interviews today.
Alright.
I'm running Matthew. I wonder what Matthew's changing on his setup. Well then, your prediction, Kevin?
Matthew first, Cameron second, Cornelius third. They all come from the back on mediums.
Well, I think Matthew will be up there. I think he's going to take the win. I hate to say it for the Alfa Romeo boys, but I think the Alfa Romeo guys can get second and third. I think they deserve it at least for qualifying first and second, but don't count out Jack Laverty. He could also be a contender. The top 4 on softs, the other 4 on mediums. Ryan, Matthew, Cameron and Cornelius all on mediums, so they're going to try mediums soft. It's risky. We've seen people take mediums in F4 20 laps and get punches, so they're going to have to at least take these 20 laps and then try and last 16 laps on softs. If not, they will be doing the 2-stop. This could then put the courts for the guys top 4 who are on softs. They can go 11 laps and go hard to the end, and could easily pull out a 1-stop gap, and then the guys who are trailing behind that 1-stop gap have to push like mad to catch up. As all eyes are on Pedro. Last race he won was in Brazil, season 7. Last season on the final round he won his home Grand Prix, and he stopped the Williams team getting a 1-2 in the Williams Grand Prix as well. So is it his time to shine at Austria then? As the light sequence will be going, and usually Karen, I would say can you look at the back, but there's literally no need.
But yeah.
We basically can see everybody. As all 8 cars do line up, and this reminds me of USA 2005. As the light sequence will be starting very shortly. As now we have 5 red lights to start season 8 F1 round, 5 at Austria IRL, and the lights are out, and it looks like the Alfa Romeos have had an alright start, but look at Jack Laverty, he's had a brilliant start, same with the Haas and the Renault. Ryan Cornelius drops back to avoid any contact, no spinning at all, and look at Matthew already challenging the former F2 champion.
We've got 3 wide in the background between Cameron, Matthew and Ryan. Matthew gets past both of them. As Cameron's going to go deep, he almost hits the Haas. Matthew actually does hit the Haas as Ryan tries to come back at them. They're side by side, the previous Williams teammates coming into turn 4. Matthew might go for a double overtake here as Cameron moves over to try and cover him off on the inside, but still going side by side here, as Matthew will eventually take P5 away from Cameron. Just about. That was a great bit of fighting there between the former teammates.
Yeah, I've got to say that they do have a lot of respect for each other. Cameron went to Red Bull, as like Matthew and Odoms were going to be teaming up, as Odoms was meant to be returning. Unfortunately it worked because I had to stop that. As Pedro says,
here's the timing glitch. Even with 8 people, it still has a timing glitch.
Don't worry guys, Pedro is first. Michael's actually been dropped to 3rd. Jack Laverty's now in the 2nd place, so even Jack Laverty could get his first win today then in the end, as he's really catching up, as we'll keep an eye behind of Matthew and Cameron.
Cameron is right behind Matthew Alder once again. Matthew defends to the inside, Cameron's going to go for the outside, Matthew's going to squeeze him surely. Coming into turn 4 once again, he's going to try and hang her on the outside. And he's going to get squeezed out by Matthew, and Matthew's going to keep that place once again. So Cameron's clearly not giving up on passing Matthew, and he's looking very racy. Both of these guys are looking quite racy right now, trying to get to the better of each other. The soft runners in front, of course, are going to try and take advantage of this. Matthew just outside DRS right now. Of course, coming on to lap 3, where DRS will take effect as Cameron goes wide. He gets a 3-second time penalty very, very early on. He's not going to like that as Jack Levity sets the fastest lap now. He's following behind Pedro. He'll have DRS for the straight. He does open it up. Doesn't look like he'll be close enough right now. As he uses the curb, he goes very deep and he's actually hit Pedro.
No
Pedro
damage.
goes wide. No damage for either one involved. Lakitu's going to get a bit of a run on Jack. Luckily, Pedro wasn't affected too much by it. He had to go out wide, but he keeps first place. And the three of these guys are where they were before, just a little bit closer together.
Cameron. I'm thinking about making a move into the double left-hander. That's going to be very risky. CRG versus Shazoo setups here. Matthew, though, the experienced driver, 2-time champion, possibly going to be a 3rd-time champion if nobody really challenges him. The only guys who are going to be really challenging him in this tier is Cameron Young, Rafa and Cornelius. Unfortunately, Rafa isn't here today. So Cameron has a lot of the work to do. Matthew has basically won a lot of races, so Cameron really needs to get past Matthew Order right now, but it's not using his overtake efficiently. Same with Matthew though. Neither driver using their EOS efficiently at all. They really want to get through the field.
Matthew had a small mistake coming out of turn 1, and it is actually going to give Cameron a bit of a run on him. It looks like Matthew used a little bit of overtake there. Didn't actually amount to anything.
Cameron might get a better run though. Cameron's really good on his exits, but so is Matthew. And here comes Cameron now. He's ready for it. Used a little bit. Matthew has just drained mostly all of his ERS. He knows Cameron's going to be a problem. As Julio's still pulling away.
The Kitu had a little bit of a moment there. Luckily, he saves it. I thought Julio might have been able to have a look at the next corner, but it wasn't as serious as I previously thought. Jack is now back behind Pedro after hitting him at the end, mid lap 3 in the hairpin. As Pedro doesn't get the best entry there either, so we might see a bit of a fight for the lead now. Jared coming through the final corner. Jack opens the DRS. He will be able to close a little bit. He's within 4/10 right now. Coming through turn 1, braking nice and late. Gets a nice bit of turning as well. He's in the DRS. He's not quite close enough. So we'll see what happens with the next straight. Once again, is it going to be a repeat? No, he actually closes up quite well there without hitting him. Also on the exit, he gets a little finicky with the throttle application. Traction wasn't as good as he would have hoped, and a lock up there as well for good measure through turn 4. So Pedro's going to retain his lead right now. Lakitu, of course, breathing down his neck as well. So in an alpha sandwich, definitely not a place that he's going to want to be right now. He's going to want to get in front of them because really Alpha have Jack right where they want him.
Yeah, that is true. As we now go on board with Jack then on board then, as he's got 90% ERS, so he's not really using it. And that could be smart, that could be very silly. He needs to get through, because if he is on the one-stop strategy, they need to pull away a little bit, because the two-stop, if he was on the two-stop, could be quicker.
Alright, here he comes. Is he going to hit him again? No. He's going to have to get a better exit than he did last lap. He does so. He's going to open up DRS. Of course, Pedro won't have DRS from anyone. He's closing into turn 4. Pedro moves over a little bit to defend, and also has a massive lock.
No, Jack's gone!
He's gone around. Jack Levity into the wall. He's got wing damage as well. He's going to be demoted right till last place. A crucial mistake. Of course, he was close to maybe getting past Pedro, but now the Alphas once again lead a 1-2.
Yeah, that's right. I believe that is Tim who's just coming in. So not the biggest grid today. Agreed, not the biggest grid, but still a lot of action. Hopefully, Jack, you don't retire. Just come in the pits, get straps at hard zone. Anything can happen. As he comes into the pits then, as we now go on board with Matthew Older, who's catching up with Julio, who's currently in third, and both BRT drivers, first and third right now, so this is good for BRT. Jack's left the session, so he has called it a day, then he won't be happy. And Cameron, very ambitious there. What is he playing at there? That was very aggressive. and Matthew will not be happy with that.
He had a front wing in there. He might go for another lunge as Matthew goes for a lunge down the inside of Julio. Julio's going to keep it around the outside, bit of a better line. Of course, he'll have similar grip right now. Softs will be falling off.
Around
Mediums will be
Matthew
pretty
goes.
okay still. And he's going to get that move as Cameron's also right behind him. And he's going to go around the outside and he's hit him. I wouldn't say it was anyone's fault.
Close there to Cornelius. On camera, I'll say
yeah, he was on the outside.
Well, I think the person at fault
the tires touched. It was unfortunate, but I don't think you can really blame Julio.
You can't blame Julio there. That was completely his corner. He was ahead. Cameron was going for the move, and it's a very hard corner to nail. And that's just unfortunate for Cameron. I think Cameron
now Ryan's going for a move on Julio.
Matthew then in third, closing on the Alphas now.
And Julio is going down the... Well, no, actually, rather, Ryan's going around the outside of Julio, and he makes that move stick, so... next in line to get past him is Cornelius, and then Cameron. Cameron hasn't actually lost too much time. He is like 2.5 seconds off the grid, but the grid is still bunched up, so if he can catch back up, he can salvage something from this race. He's currently running in 7th. Cornelius right behind Julio now. We'll see if he can catch enough. Julio almost has lost DRS from Ryan in front of him after getting overtaken. Is he gonna go for a move now? He has plenty of ERS. Cornelius has to go down the inside. He's actually gonna stay behind and get a better exit.
Matthew hit Michael there. Matthew hopefully doesn't go for the overtake, because that would be in the wrong for Matthew if he went for the overtake there, because he just basically shunted him. And unfortunately we have had news that Jack Levity has left, so he will not be racing anymore, and that is a shame. And I understand the game this year for Codemasters hasn't been up to spec, so I do understand if you are frustrated. It should get better though. It is annoying, and Michael picks his first penalty of the race, and Matthew is licking his lips. Oh, hang on a minute, I see a Ferrari. It's Cornelius. Cornelius is off the track, and he looks like he lost the exact same place there as Cameron. Hopefully no wing damage to the Ferrari, and he can carry on.
I'm gonna assume that was from a move on Julio, maybe. If they were going side by side, similar to Cameron and actually Julio. Maybe it was a repeat, but yeah, wasn't on board, so don't fully know what happened there. But what I can say is that Cornelius is quite a ways back from the grid, as is Cameron, so they'll have to catch back up. Luckily for them, as I said before, though, the grid is nice and bunched up, so if they can catch up early enough, then as I said, they can salvage something.
They can salvage something quite easily there. Ryan is...
Oh, a little snap of oversteer from Massey going through that corner.
See what Matthew can do then. Ryan isn't close on this. Is what Austria's about. DRS train, and it just happens, and you basically can't really overtake, and it's going to help Cameron and Cornelius.
As Matthew gets to braking absolutely right there, he closes up perfectly just without hitting him. He's not going to be able to capitalise on that though, as Lukitu had seemingly a little extra straight line speed, so maybe using a little bit of overtake. Speaking of overtake, Matthew has well more than doubled than the two in front of him. If you added up the two in front of him, Matthew would still have more, so almost full battery for Matthew at his disposal. I can't speak. But yeah, should make overtaking easier once the soft tires really drop off.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but is there rain? Is this why Matthew started on mediums? Look at the cloud. It was bright earlier, and now it is absolutely dark.
That
is there
a good
rain?
Point.
And has the medium runners pulled a massive crash strategy?
Oh, I know you can bring softs quite a ways into the Grand Prix.
Well, the softs will be pitting very
Of course,
soon,
they'll be dead quite early, but I mean they can go like a decent distance.
Oh, hang on, Michael is making a move on Pedro. Side by side, a bit of contact between the other teams.
Matthew's gonna take advantage of this. He's gonna be on the outside. He's gonna go right around the inside, have the inside for next corner, and he's gonna be in the Alpha sandwich as Jack Leverty was, and we can see what happened to Jack. So maybe something similar might happen to Matthew. You never know.
Ryan's made a move on Michael. Michael wanted to pit.
Lakitu is coming into the pit. It's like he's going to try and get an undercut, although will it be much of an undercut if it rains? That is another question that will be answered further into this Grand Prix. Matthew gets right up on the curb, as does Faz. He brakes earlier. Does Matthew, gets a better turn in, better exit as well. He's going to go to the inside, it looks like, as Pedro defends. As my voice feels absolutely gone right now. But Pedro was on the outside. He's actually going to hold it despite being on one softs. Of course, the key to just pit, so I'm sure that his tires are really going off. But he's going to hold it around the outside, and it looks like Matthew now finally has it as Ryan is next up to take Faz. So Faz should be coming in right now. And Ryan, by the way, could be on for a potential P2 if this strategy works out for him.
Could be on a potential P2, but it depends when this rain hits.
No, he's not.
Really
okay, interestingly, Pedro doesn't pit.
He's going to get punches if he's not careful. They're probably going to at least last 2 more laps, and then he's going to have to pit because those tyres will be in critical condition.
Now, I think in the past I've been able to bring them like 18 laps. They were completely gone. It was like 80%, but yeah, 18 laps I'd say would be around the absolute maximum that they could do. And don't forget, these are quality tires as well. I did mine fresh, so saying 2 more laps is actually probably quite realistic, as we see Ryan now right up the back of Pedro's already lost DRS. Will Ryan be going down the inside? He doesn't even have a look. He's going to stay behind for now. But you can see how much more grip he has right now compared to Pedro. Lakitu, of course, on the undercut strategy right now. If it doesn't rain, then it could work out for him.
Penalty, 3 seconds could be crucial because Ryan's got 0 right now. Gap 1.5 seconds, I believe. Oh, Ryan makes an error. Saves it, doesn't go off the track. Cameron's catching up slowly. 2.2 seconds now. Ryan is closing and closing and closing, but he isn't closing enough. He needs to get a good exit out of here before, if it does rain, before the rain approaches. Because it is really dark on the right side, but up the hill here in sector 1 and 2. Turn 3
and Ryan's going to go right to the inside. Pedro is going to just push him all the way to the right as much as he can, but it's not going to be enough, and Ryan gets that move done. Very similar actually to Vettel on Hamilton in real life in 2018, I think it was 17 or 18, but yeah, Ryan up to P2 now, and of course with Matthew's penalty he is in the net lead, just about though. I would be expecting Matthew to be pulling away quite soon. Well, I mean really right now. You would expect from the 2-time world champion, F1 champion for IRL at least. As here comes Pedro into the pits, finally. So we'll see where he comes out compared to his teammate. His teammate pitted 2 laps prior. As he locks up, he doesn't get a 5-second pen, so he just about slowed the car down. As Julio follows him as well. So that's as much as the softs can do. Faz in the pits, he'll be putting on medium, so he'll be going to the end now. As Julio Did he jump? No, he didn't. Okay, I think it showed that wrong. Yeah, out comes Faz, and he's quite a ways down the road. He's 6 seconds off, so you can see the difference at 2 laps made. 6 seconds between the teammates now. Of course, Lakitu will be closing. To see the gap, it's 15 seconds. So once Matthew pits, if Matthew isn't going to be pitting on Inters, Lakitu will be the net leader. So right now he should, in theory, be the net leader. Of course, we'll see once Matthew and Ryan finally come into the pits.
Yeah, they'll be pushing their tyres to at least lap 20 and they'll be on softs then, so they're not doing the 2-stop. Neither of these guys are all doing the 1-stop strategy, so it's going to be interesting because we've seen the softs die 15 laps at the end, so Matthew's going to have to at least push this to probably lap 22 to have a good soft stint.
And I just want to point out, Cameron is back from the dead. He's running just behind Ryan. He has DRS as well. He doesn't have much DRS, but I'm sure he'll be making that back as he makes back quite a lot in the braking zone. So he could be chasing down Matthew actually, despite his moment in this corner here. If you're spectating him, he has come back quite well, and of course being on the medium. So
hang on.
There's your rain, Jared. You called it.
So it is raining. I saw the sprinkles there, just literally a massive gush of rain, and the rain has approached then. So the top 3 right now are looking good for the basically top 3. If they've planned the strategy right, they need to make sure their tyres last to the inter conditions.
Yeah, but here comes Cameron Young though on Ryan Heron. Ryan Heron looks to be defending to the inside. He's going to cut back to the outside, so he doesn't, and Cameron's going to go right down the inside of the hairpin. They touch, bang tyres, mid-corner, and Ryan's going to keep that position for now. But once again, here comes Cameron Young. Is he going to go maybe to the outside? Ryan defends to the inside. He cuts back a little bit, and he is going to keep that, but you can see Cameron seems to just have so much more grip compared to Ryan, and he's right back up his rear has a little bit of a lock-up from Cameron by getting so close to him, as it looks like maybe his pitting is Matthew Alder pitting. Matthew's not pitting, Ryan doesn't pit either, so it's not time for Inters right now, but it looks very close. The rain's coming down quite hard right now. Cameron Young's still following. There's DRS of course still available as well, so that's usually an indication of whether slicks or Inters are the better tyre. And now he's much closer. It looks like he's going to get this slam dunk before the corner. Actually he's not though. Ryan keeps it. Of course their tyres are equal, and Cameron's going to make that move as Ryan gets a little bit of a traction loss, and of course Cameron gets the second bite of the cherry, and that's the end of that battle. So Cameron right now is 3.8 seconds back. I know the top 2 both have a penalty. I did see Cameron's, if you remember, like lap 3, he got a very early penalty.
Well, he's got 2 actually. He's got 6 seconds.
Oh, well then he's got 6. So actually Matthew's in quite a good position right now. Of course these mediums have quite a bit of life left in them as Matthew stays out. Is Cameron coming into the pits? Cameron is coming into the pits, and so is Ryan. So could this have been a mistake from Matthew to stay out? He may have got the call a little too late. Cornelius stays out. Lakitu's going to pit. Faz is also going to stay out. Now Julio looks like is also going to follow the rest in. So Cornelius and Matthew Alder staying out.
Ryan got a little bit held by his mechanics, but they're on intermediate. So then, is it Inters now? DRS hasn't been disabled, so you're pitting early. They're taking a risk here. I don't think it's Inters yet. I don't think it's anywhere near. I don't think it's going to be another 2 laps. Promotes Pedro back to 3rd.
There's no spray coming off the tyres, really. It doesn't look like anyway. As a double lock-up from Cameron. got into the hairpin, so maybe not. I'm sure it's very close to the crossover point, but I don't think it's quite time.
Oh, hang on.
Okay, maybe it is. Cornelius just spun.
DRS is disabled.
I think I saw someone else spin as well, or half spin at least.
Gap to leader from Cameron is 21
in comes
seconds.
Matthew. It is time for wets, for enters at least, as he goes a little wide on the entry as well, Matthew Walder. So, you can see it's certainly time. So, was that the incorrect decision? As lots of spray coming off Cameron's car, he's going to have to be careful coming into the penultimate corner. He's going to hit him. No! That was so close between the two of them. Almost hitting Pedro, but where will he come out now? Matthew is coming out now. Cameron Young is coming through the final corner. They are going to be side by side now. Who's going to come out on top? They're side by side coming up to the hairpin. Matthew's on cold inters right now. Cameron defends to the inside. They're side by side, the two former teammates. The sister teams as well. Who is going to come out on top here? They're so evenly matched, it looks like. Still side by side through the hairpin, and it looks like Matthew has it right now. He defends to the inside now. Cameron's going to have to go the long way around. Is Matthew going to push him out, or is he going to stay there? He is going to stay there. Still side by side. Great battling once again. Lots of respect given to both. And Matthew is going to come out on top. Very close. Almost making use of Matthew staying out that extra lap. Cameron was so close to getting ahead of him, but he's going to have to stick behind. And we saw on the dry, even with DRS, it was difficult to overtake. So very crucial that Matthew stayed in front, and he is leading right now. As Ryan gets 3-second penalty, so now another person gets added to the list of people with pens. Matthew with 3, Cameron with 6, and Ryan with 3.
Well, Cameron still hasn't closed that much up, and I'm just making sure. Interesting. It is actually meant to be midday. Not midday, it's actually meant to be official apparently, even though F4 and FP were midday. Interesting. The rain is picking up, and it looks like it may even go full wets, Kevin. I'm not too surprised if it does. It's getting a little bit darker, and it could even get more dark. The spray is starting to pick up a little bit, as we only have 6 cars left. Pedro picked up a penalty now.
That he has, and you can see now the two that locked out the front row and were leading most of the early stages of the race. 4th and 5th now. Of course, they started on softs. The 3 people who were, 3 out of 4 of the people who were at the back, who started on mediums. Obviously, you can see how much better that worked out. I'm surprised more people didn't qualify on the mediums, though. Given that the rain was coming, I mean, it was the clear better strategy. But obviously, maybe people thought it would come earlier than it did.
It's interesting. As we go back to the interval gap, and it's the only battle we do have on track between Cameron and Matthew. Cameron's not close enough yet. Cameron is trying to close, no lock up or anything on the intermediates. Massive aggressively, he goes to the left hand side. We're trying to get the heat in his tyres or something, unless he's struggling with heating issues. But Cameron's staying with him now. 5/10 the gap is currently.
Unfortunate that the race has kind of died down, of course, with the lower turnout than the normal. It's kind of to be expected. Less drivers means less action. We did get quite a good bit of action though from the people running the top two earlier, and now Matthew gets a second penalty. So Cameron and Matthew on the same page right now. Ryan, I'm not sure, but I think he has only 3 seconds, so he could capitalise on the top two. If he can get within 3 seconds of Matthew, he could win. But that's only if he's not right there in range right now.
As then we're on lap 25 out of 36, not many laps left in this race. So Cameron's going to have to decide when he's going to go for a full out attack on Matthew. As we'll keep an eye out.
I think Matthew should be restricted only to 6th gear for a lap, so Cameron can get past him, and then we could get a bit of a fight. Personally,
Yeah, probably could. But
although actually Cameron's kind of closing up anyway, regardless. Coming up to the hairpin now, he's within almost 2/10. He's actually going to go for a massive dive bomb. I've never seen a dive bomb quite like that. It's gonna work out. They bang tires on the exit, and he takes the lead of this race. Will Matthew come back at him though? Cameron defends it inside, and it looks like he is gonna have that move done. Cameron not the best exit, but neither for Matthew, and he's actually going to have that that move done. Is now Matthew goes for quite the move down the inside and touches just a little bit with Cameron, so maybe getting a little argy-bargy between these two. As Cameron holds it around the outside, he goes wide a little bit, and now Matthew can hold it around the outside. A little bit of a battle. I mean, it's kind of ironic that I said that Matthew should be in 6th gear, but yeah, there's a little bit of fighting between the top two, and it may not be over either, as Matthew dips to the right and then goes straight back to left, trying to cut that slipstream. Coming into turn 1, will Cameron get a good exit this time? I don't think so. And yeah, Matthew will become victorious in that fight, but will he though? Cameron still there. This time Cameron doesn't go for a massive dive. Oh, and Matthew doesn't have a great exit, and Cameron is going to try it maybe around the outside. Side by side once again between the top two. All this fighting is helping Ryan to catch up, by the way. He was 4 seconds back. He's now about 3 seconds back, so really helping Ryan out to maybe snatch a win on pens. But yeah, Matthew once again comes out on top after a little bit more fighting with Cameron, who has a very small amount of ERS compared to Matthew right now.
Yeah, I've got to say that move from Cameron wasn't the cleanest, and if Matthew does report it, that probably will resolve into a pen, because that could have easily given Matthew a tiny bit of wing damage, and I know Matthew's not going to appreciate that. I do like a battle, but there was no need to dive from there, as ironically he said to me in FP not to do that.
Looking at it, I don't think Matthew or Cameron got wing damage from that. Of course, they're both looking quite racy. Ryan in the background, he's ready to take anything on pens right now, I think. He certainly doesn't look like he's gonna win this on pure pace right now, but if the top two fight a little more, maybe he could get involved. So once again, Matthew moving to break the toe. A little bit slidey from Matthew as well through the penultimate corner.
I do apologise if we're not talking that much, but there's literally nothing to commentate on at the moment because not really that much of a battle. The gap's gone back up to a second. There's one lap, 29 out of 36. 7 more laps. Now his gap now is 1.3 seconds now, Kevin. So Matthew is increasing the gap a bit more now, and Cameron, if he's not careful, isn't really going to be staying with the little bit of slipstream he's getting. And if Matthew keeps pulling away like this, he's going to storm and take the win a bit sooner than he feels right now.
Yeah, just outside of 1 second window. I would say that, like, if you're within 1 second, you'll probably get some kind of tow, or at least I'd hope so. Although I don't think on this game slipstream is all that effective, so that's a little unfortunate for Cameron. But yeah, he is kind of falling a little bit back now. He had a little bit of a challenge, but couldn't stay ahead, and doesn't look like he's going to get another chance with 6 laps remaining once Matthew crosses the line. Lakitu looks, yeah, the bottom 3 really, 4th, 5th and 6th. Of course, the bottom 3 being 4th, 5th and 6th, that's not something that you'd be expecting to say. Unfortunately it is, but everyone seems to be kind of staying put apart from the top 2.
That's what happens, fortunately. There's one lap, 31 out of 36. .3 seconds now. 32 out of 36 now. Only 5 laps left of this race. This gap's now 1.2 seconds. Michael picks up a 3-second penalty, which could cost him later in the race. I don't think Pedro's got that many. Will Cameron makes a mistake at the final corner. There's now on lap 33, 4 laps remaining.
Yeah, and Cameron just losing time now really to Matthew. It doesn't look like he has any answer for Matthew's pace anymore. He did try. You can't knock him for trying. Of course, going up against someone like Matthew, especially pretty much in his in this league where he has 2 championships under his belt already, back to back. The last 2 seasons he's taken them, so yeah, he's not an easy person to go up against. And yeah, he tried, but now I think it's kind of a bit of realism, maybe. Well, reality is the word I was looking for. Is kind of settled in, and it looks like Matthew's kind of running away with this race win now.
Yeah, I think he has now 1.9 seconds, 2 seconds the gap now is. As we're about to start lap 34, 3 laps left in this race. As I do repeat what I said earlier, we are not doing podium interviews for today. Probably will return with podium interviews next week. It all depends, of course. But there'll be none today, unfortunately. As Cameron has lost more time now, 2.3 seconds as Pedro picks up a penalty. So Cameron's just basically sandbagging, relaxing now, and just knows that he can't get anything more than first place. As on lap 34 at 36. Coming on 2.3 seconds, 2.4. Welcome. As we've got 2 laps remaining, the penultimate lap of this race. Gap now 2.2 seconds to Matthew. Cameron's gap to Ryan is 4.8 seconds. So I think Cameron is safe for second place. I could be wrong. Ryan could get it. I don't believe he's got any penalties. But if Cameron wants to be super safe, he needs to build the gap now to 6 seconds in the next 2 laps. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to try and pull that off, but he's managed to make the gap now 4.8 seconds. An extra 1.2 seconds won't be that much to ask, as Matthew has stabilised the gap between Cameron now 2.2 seconds. As only 6 cars have survived the 8. As we're on the final lap of this race then, looks like Matthew is going to take the win. Gap to Ryan and Cameron is 5 seconds. Ryan in the Renault, if you are hearing this, the gap's 5 seconds. You need to literally do a Lando Norris and Hamilton and push like mad. Use all your overtake, all your fuel, and absolutely, I would say wreck Cameron, but catch him up. Gap, you just need to keep within 5.1 seconds if you haven't got a penalty. Trying to excite the guys up. And here comes Cameron, 2.6 seconds to Matthew. He's lost a couple more tenths now. As we'll go on board with our 2-time world champion, possibly 3-time champion this season, as Matthew Alder is coming on the double left-hander now in the AlphaTauri, has shown dominance all season round and all the way around Austria from the back of the grid as well. With the low turnout, it looks like Matthew's going to take another win and extend his championship lead. Now he comes to the final corner, and it looks like he is going to take the win unless he gets a surprise 10-second penalty, and he takes the win in Austria, takes first place. Cameron takes first. Cameron wins. Matthew goes second. I thought Matthew didn't have that many
by
penalties.
3 tenths.
Ryan takes third, Michael in fourth, Pedro is in fifth, so I got that completely wrong then. And Michael, Pedro only just bit up by a couple of hundredths there to take fourth place. And Julio then will finish in sixth place, and we'll be happy with that, with Cornelius in seventh and Jack Laverty, who has left, in eighth place.
Yeah, that's a bit of a breath of fresh air to see someone else winning, but I think if Matthew reports that, then he might not keep the win. But for now anyway, Cameron does take the win on pens by 3 tenths. Matthew's second, and Ryan does get I think his second ever podium in the top tier, coming from F2 last season, being champion as well. So I'm sure he'll be happy with the podium finish, and of course Cameron with the win.
Well then, we'll go down the official results with only 8 drives, and Cameron finally gets a win in IRL and finally beats his former teammate. It took him long enough, gotta say, to give him some more motivation for next week. Congratulations to Cameron taking the win on track, and by, well, actually not by, just on penalties. Matthew in second then, Ryan third, Michael Royce in fourth, Pedro at fifth, Julio in sixth, Cornelius takes seventh. Jack Laverty unfortunately has left the league and has retired from IRL, finishes in eighth with a DNF. Well then, I've been your commentator, IRL Neon. I've been joined by Kevin. Kevin, have you got anything to say before I close the stream?
Well, I mean, to be fair, it was a good race today. With fighting at the start of the race was actually quite good. If you do think about it, and also the fight between Matthew and Cameron, that eventually ended in Cameron actually getting him on pens. I think overall was a good race, and hopefully we get maybe a few more drivers, but also similar racing next few weeks to the end of the season. Really would be the best.
Well then, as I said, I've been your commentator on the end. That's Kevin. It's been IRL. If you want to see more content, join us tomorrow at 4:30 UK time. Comms team brought by Lance LeBron for F3, and Felix Negua now only for F5 since Jake has had to take a break. And hopefully turn out a little bit better on that. They have been pretty decent all season. And hope you guys enjoyed that. And then FP will be on Wednesday. Wednesday next week, and we will be at, I believe it's Britain, for the next week for the FP tier. Well then, hope you guys have a nice day, and goodbye for now.